In our household, Friday nights are movie nights, and we've been watching some great and not so great films. So let's talk about that.
You're watching out for Daddy. Hey, that's my dad.
Hey there, welcome to Afro Daddy. So I've always loved movies, all sorts of movies. I could spend days watching good films. And I've realized that one of my kids especially also really likes movies. So since they're getting older, we thought it's time for us to evolve the kind of movies that they're watching from just like the pure, silly cartoons to something with a bit more story, but still appropriate for them. Because I really want them to have good taste in films, and I also want them to be able to critically analyze the media that comes into their eyes. So for the last few weeks, we've watched a mix of classic films and more contemporary films that we thought would be appropriate for them, just to see where their level's at. So here are 8 quick reviews to see whether these films are fun and appropriate for your family to watch. A quick disclaimer, like all things, these reviews are completely dependent on your context, because some kids are more capable of seeing things that are a little bit scary or more violent, or able to deal with more complex issues, and you have to decide what your child can and can't handle, obviously using the rating system as a guide. But here is what we experienced watching these films. First off, E.T., the extraterrestrial, always a great film, really does stand up and was fun for everyone to watch. The kids enjoyed the adventure and the fact that it was really kid-focused. I enjoyed the fact that it's a Steven Spielberg film and looks beautiful even in 2023. And for my 7 and 9-year-old, the whole film was really well paced and the tension was well balanced. So it never got boring and it never got too scary or too intense for them. It kind of kept them engaged at the right levels throughout the film. So E.T. is a must-watch for every family. Next up, the classic Karate Kid. I was so excited to watch this with my boys because they like watching cartoons with like martial arts involved with them. So I thought this would be really cool. And it was a little bit of a flop. Because unlike E.T., these kids are a little bit older. They're in their teenage years and there's a lot more like soppy romance stuff going on. It actually takes a very long time for the Karate Kid to actually start doing karate in this film. And we ended up fast forwarding through like 15-20 minutes of them going on dates and like going to the bowling alley and kind of talking to each other about how cool it is to be from New York. It was not a great film for my boys. They got really, really bored to the point where, like I said, I had to fast forward to the actual scenes where karate is done. Now, should you go and watch Karate Kid by yourself again because it's nostalgic and awesome? Yes, but don't have your kids with you. They'll just ruin it. Then jumping ahead a couple of years, The School of Rock featuring Jack Black. I thought this was going to be a hilarious film about a really interesting and funny teacher doing crazy things with his students. And in reality, it actually wasn't as interesting and as funny as I remember it being. It's still a good film, and maybe if your kids are really into music, they would enjoy it. My kids, it took a little bit of effort to get into the end of the film, and the big payoff at the end didn't feel like a really big payoff, and it didn't really feel like there were very exciting stakes for my children. Maybe as an adult, I can understand the need to struggle through to make money, to like follow your dream. And again, the focus of this film is really on Jack Black's experience as an adult and less so on the children. And this is actually a theme that I'm seeing throughout all of these film reviews, is that for my kids, when the film is from the child's perspective, like E.T., then they will enjoy it because they can relate to it better. But when it's about children from the adult's perspective, like School of Rock, it's less fun for them. Next up is Iron Man. We thought our kids might be old enough to start watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which are all films that I mostly really love. So I was really excited at the idea of starting with Iron Man and watching all of them with them over the next couple of months. And again, my kids love the Iron Man cartoons. They love big explosions. They love adventure and action. So I thought that Iron Man 1 was perfect for them, and I was a little bit wrong with that. So again, coming back to the E.T. example, it manages the tension and excitement and the flow of the movie really, really well. When it comes to Iron Man, however, it doesn't really achieve that when it comes to my kids. Because the slow parts are quite slow and the scary parts are way too scary. So they just found the film to be way too intense and boring, And there are some actually really big jump scares if you watch the film as a 9-year-old or a 7-year-old. Also, I didn't realize this the first time I watched Iron Man, but when you watch it with your kids, you realize that so much of Tony Stark's comments are way too adult and sexist for children to be watching. Like, I don't want my children to ever speak the way Tony Stark speaks, especially to women and to people that works for him. Yeah, so the Marvel Cinematic Universe experiment for my kids might have to wait a few more years. Okay, I'm going to speed this up now. Hocus Pocus, my kids found too slow in some parts and too scary in other parts, and neither of them connected with any of the characters really. They didn't understand why the kids acted the way they did or why they were motivated to do anything in the film. In fact, we stopped the film halfway. With Aladdin, we were super excited for them to watch it, and they just didn't find Robin Williams as the genie as funny as we did. And again, my kids don't love ballads, so they didn't really connect with the wonderful music of Aladdin either. And they just found the whole storyline really silly, so didn't really enjoy it as much as their parents did. The same goes for Mrs. Doubtfire, by the way, which is just a movie about adults doing adult things and struggling through adult problems. I don't know why I found it funny as a child. Like, why would I ever connect with that? Maybe it was the fact that Robin Williams was such a huge comedic actor at the time that we just naturally knew that this was funny. But watching with my kids who don't know Robin Williams as this huge comedic actor, they didn't connect with it. We stopped the movie halfway because they got bored. And then finally, there's Up. Now, with all of these other films, I started to really worry that my children aren't able to connect with the emotional stories that are going on in these films. But Up has proven that I have nothing to worry about because they really understood and connected with why the characters in the film were doing what they were doing. They understood why they were motivated to go on this adventure. They understood why the old man felt as grumpy and as sad as he felt. They felt sad for him. They understood that his life didn't go the way they wanted. And this is some very complex adult themes, but it's packaged in a way for children to understand. And it's one of those times that Pixar just nailed it. My kids loved Up. I loved watching it with them. So watch that next time we have a family movie night. I really enjoyed doing these reviews and watching these films, and I hope you enjoyed the reviews themselves and that you got some value out of them. If you did, please leave a like or comment somewhere, wherever you're watching this film, so that I know that this is something that I should do more of. And let me know if there are any films that you would like me to review, especially from like a family parent's perspective. Is this a film you can watch with your kids? Is it appropriate for your children? Are there hidden themes that maybe you didn't realize before you went into it? And is this a film that you could enjoy watching as a family? Because it's not just about whether or not your kids are having fun. It should be about all of you having fun, because that's how movie film nights become an enjoyable thing for everyone. Let me know in the comments and we'll give it a go. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you soon. Aphrodite out.
You're watching Aphrodite. Hey, that's my dad.